I wonder what the stupid elite you call me an Igbo elite. You are protecting the interest of Ndi Igbo or Haneze Ndi Igbo, Igbo governor, governors forum, Nkanka Aki Ikenga. Stupid and foolish set of people. Those I blame are the Igbo elite, those that continually play to the gallery. Those who continually and perpetually goes to the Sokoto Caliphate, kneel down, prostrate, even against Igbo philosophy, because the Igbo man does not bow to any living being. He bows down only to his chi. And then today, the history of the Igbo people, there is an orchestrated plan to erase it entirely out of history. Until, like I said, until the lion learns to write the history of hunting expedition, the story remains with the hunters. A people of over 45 million inhabitants. You want to erase them from the history book of one of the most prosperous races to have ever emerged in the history of Nigeria. Prior to the Biafran War, Ndi Igbo were the most entrepreneurial and progressive Nigerians ever. Until the lion learns to write the history of hunting expeditions, all the histories that are written by the hunters will always glorify the hunters. This is the position of Ndi Igbo, and the recent exposition by the book that was recently written by 3 Yoruba men headed by Olajide and Taiwo, The Living History for junior secondary schools, right? Now, it has been alleged, I will say alleged because I've not been able to lay a hand on that text, right? And it was alleged that the Igbo role in the Nigerian system was actually erased. You will also understand that over a period of time, history was actually wiped out or was actually, downplayed upon in the Nigerian educational system. They say history repeats itself. History is the study of past events that guides us towards a greater future, so that we do not repeat the mistakes of the past. Then what happens when an educational system deliberately, consciously, and rapaciously plays down on the history of a whole people, and then a whole race, a whole ethnicity that played a greater part in the development and in the stride towards bringing Nigeria where it is today? You are writing a book and then you are actually downplaying, or actually erasing the role of Ndi Igbo in the Nigerian project. It goes a long way, and this book was actually meant to teach people or students from junior secondary school. You are bringing back history and you are erasing the history of an entire ethnicity who have been a major player in Nigeria. Talk about the independent quest, talk about the nationalist movement. The Igbo people have been in the forefront of it. Are you trying to tell us that you do not want to tell our children, or you don't want to tell Nigerians the truth of what happened? What were the preludes of the Biafran War? What led to the Biafran War? You want to only tell them, maybe through side talk, you want them to know, or you want them to understand the half-baked truth that has always been constantly and will continually be told in Nigeria, that the Igbos wanted to leave Nigeria. You want to give them the half-baked truth that the coup that happened around 1966 was an Igbo coup. You do not want to break down all the participants of the coup for them to actually ascertain and determine for themselves whether it was an Igbo coup or it was a coup that was geared towards eradicating corruption in Nigeria, right? The new generation to forget that what led to the declaration of the Biafran War was the failure of the Aburi Accord, or the pogrom in the north that led to the dying of a lot of Igbo in millions. Are you erasing a history to not to let our children know the role that the Igbo people played towards the liberation movement of Nigeria? The Aba women riot, the revolutionary actions of the vibrant Aba women that cut across Ali Igbo and down to the old eastern region, or the role that was played by Nnamdi Azikiwe as a nationalist, not a sectional leader. What are you trying to erase entirely? And then the Igbo people were clapping. The Minister for Education is very mute. And then you talk about the words from the street. Every other ethnic group, every other people are very happy that the Igbo people should be erased from the history of Nigeria. To achieve what? exactly? What do you want to achieve towards erasing the history of Ndi Igbo? A whole race that down to even the United States made history, because you cannot talk about the resistance movement towards slavery and then you don't talk about the Igbo people and their fight against slavery. You hear about the Igbo landing, even in America, right? It was a resistance. Now you're erasing a history to make sure that the new generation of Nigerians do not discover what the Nigerian state did during the Biafran War or prior to the Biafran War with the Asaba massacre. What exactly are you erasing? Or are you erasing a history to allow the new generation of Nigerians to believe that the Igbos never had an organized system of governance? The gerontocratic system, the republican system, or the republican nature of Ndi Igbo? What are you actually erasing from history? Until the Igbo people rapaciously and mindlessly fight for a proper representation of Ndi Igbo in the history of Nigeria, we go nowhere. Ndi Igbo played a very vital role. You are erasing Ndi Igbo that actually embraced innovative ideas of the West, and then maybe you are including the Sokoto Caliphate because they accepted Islamism. Tayu. You wrote the book, and then your colleagues and you chose amongst every other people, the people you must exclude is the tribe or the ethnicity that composes at least a fraction or a majority of the fraction of the entity you call today Nigeria, a people of over 45 million inhabitants. You want to erase them from the history book of Nigeria, and then you want us to be mute, you want us to be calm, you want us to be very docile about it. I do not blame you. Those I blame are the Igbo elite, those that continually play to the gallery, those who continually and perpetually goes to the Sokoto Caliphate, kneel down, prostrate, even against Igbo philosophy, because the Igbo man does not bow to any living being. He bows down only to his chi. And then today, the history of the Igbo people, there is an orchestrated plan to erase it entirely out of history. Until, like I said, until the lion learns to write the history of hunting expedition, the story remains with the hunters. Ndi Igbo can be wise, we can do better. I wonder what the stupid elite, you call me Nekulai, an Igbo elite, you are protecting the interest of Ndi Igbo, or Haneze Ndi Igbo, Igbo governor, governors forum, Nkanka Aki Ikenga. Stupid and foolish set of people. Idiotic imbeciles.